I want to talk to you about a service called WPS hosting. And the question is this hosting platform great or what? Let's talk about that. So let me give you a presentation so we have a clear idea of what we're talking about here. So when we actually mention WPS hosting, this is actually, in our view, one of the best WordPress hosting services for bloggers. It's really fast. It is beginner friendly. It has excellent customer support with 24/7 live chat. And the service also boasts a 99.95% uptime. So this is kind of cool. Now, do not expect to have somebody on the phone real fast. But when it comes to live chat, when it comes to email, they're really fast, okay? And all the essentials like backups and security are basically included in the service. And so with the WPX, it's really cool in terms of scalability. We love that a lot. So think of it as a WordPress web hosting provider designed to make establishing websites quick and simple. Very, very simple. The company actually started about 10 years, more than 10 years ago in 2013. So this is kind of cool. And we love the fact that right now they have their own CDN. They have added extras such as a free malware removal. And they have pushed their way into all kinds of functionalities. We love that a lot. And so when it comes to website hosting, here is a company that's here to stay. Okay, and the cool thing is that you are having support 24/7. This is kind of important. And so when we think about WPS hosting, we love the fact that you have managed WordPress hosting, you have unlimited email accounts, you have automatic daily backups, which are really critical, especially if you are running, let's say, an e-commerce website or a pretty important high traffic blog. You have a fast customer service response time, but again, do not expect to have somebody on the phone. If you love live email or live chat, that's fine. And they also have a 30-day money back guarantee. And so what we think that they still need to work on the live chat aspect of things because things are not where the quality is not really where it should be right now. And they have a ticket support only, but they have to work on also enabling for people to be able to call them over the phone. Okay, so WPS hosting is one of the fastest WordPress hosting providers, and but you have to really understand that you gotta have the right plan to be able to avail yourself of the full functionality of the service. By the way, boss, welcome back to the show. It's really a pleasure to have you here. Make yourself comfortable. You are going to enjoy today's conversation. So when we talk about WPS hosting, what kind of features should you expect here? So basically, you have one-click WordPress installs, you have SSD storage, you have free SSL certificates via Let's Encrypt, you have unlimited site migrations to a WPX, staging area creation, several different server locations which you need anyway. Right now they have they have servers in the US, in the UK, Australia. In some cases they have New Zealand. And they also offer DDoS protection. So when we talk about free CDN, so XDN by WPX, basically here you are talking about what? When we talk about CDN provider, once activated on your website, this is basically a platform or a service that will actually act as your website's assets from a location closer to the visitor. So it will basically migrate those things seamlessly. Your website assets. It will really migrate them seamlessly from a location closer to the visitor. This means that you reduce latency and improve page load times, which is really, really important. So currently, WPS CDN is available from more than 30 global locations and can be enabled with a few clicks from the dashboard. So this is kind of cool. You have responsive customer support and free sites fixes if your site goes offline. So if God forbid something were to happen to your site and you are like in a situation where you need somebody to quickly come and fix it, basically WPS hosting will do it for you. They will fix your sites for free if it goes offline. But in general, there's always the possibility of making sure that you have a quick customer service, quick technical service from them. And as soon as you actually get back to it. Now, the only problem is you're not going to be able to talk to someone on the phone, but if you go through live chat, they are very responsive. They're really fast too. Within when we tested them, we got a response within 30 minutes. So this is kind of cool. And in terms of malware recovery, so you want to actually have WPS hosting includes malware recovery in their offering. So this is kind of cool, so that you are able to get things fixed on your website if something were to happen. By the way, boss, I want to quickly remind you of today's topic. We are having a conversation about WPX hosting. So this is a review of this hosting service. When it comes to WPX hosting, you have automatic backups and manual backups. So the service will automatically back up your website every single day and save those files for 28 days. This is kind of cool. You can also choose to back up your sites manually. This is actually a good practice to do before any updates to ensure you don't lose any changes if anything goes wrong. And automatic backups are a standard offering for most managed WordPress hosting companies these days. So this is kind of cool. And you have a free speed optimization. So you are able to actually, like if you want to take WPX hosting up on a deal, open up a support ticket and ask them to optimize your site. So, and they actually promise to do it for free. Okay. They will run some tests to find out what's slowing down your site, make some tweaks, and provide some additional recommendations for you. And this is kind of cool because, they're doing it for free. Whereas other companies, they charge you somewhere from $100 to $200 for this service. You also have a usage-based pricing. So there is a pricing trend in the WordPress managed hosting space where the price actually via monthly unique visitors, but what they consider to be a unique visitor resets daily. And so this is one of those things where, again, it's just that some of those providers, WordPress managed hosting providers, they're playing games with customers. And what we love the fact that WPX hosting doesn't do that. Their pricing plans are based on resource usage instead. Should you run into issues, you could use a Cloudflare to offset resource usage. And this is kind of cool. One thing I want to say before I actually go into the specs is that when we talk about WPX hosting, we love the fact that they have all kinds of functionalities. I mean, of course, they focus a lot more on WordPress managed hosting. So with WPX, you don't have you don't have cloud server, you don't have VPS server, you don't have dedicated server, or you don't have shared server. You have specifically WordPress hosting. So that's kind of cool because by focusing on only one, let's say, hosting capability, they have developed over the years, over the last 10 years, a specific level of expertise in that field. So we love that a lot. Let me give you some specs here. So when we think about WPX hosting, what are we talking about in terms of specs? First of all, how fast is WPX hosting? Well, it's one of those things. They are really fast. They're really fast, and they uptime, they were really good. Quality is really good. Safety really good. And so when you think about a WordPress website, there are a few things you need to pay attention to. You got to ask yourself, when you have a live site, does it get a lot of traffic or regular, like decent traffic? And what kind of optimization do you have? In other words, can you significantly improve the site optimization? And think about what kind of a backend do you have in terms of the, let's say, the technical ability that you're trying to really instill into the website here. And it's one of those things where you have to understand that you got to think about the resource intensive plugins that you actually have on the website. Because if you have a blog, or let's say if you have an e-commerce site, for instance, if you have intensive plugins on the back end, those could slow you down. So you got to be really careful here. And you also got to think about desktop page speed test, mobile page speed test, because if a lot of your customers are coming, a lot of your visitors are coming from mobile versus desktop, you got to make sure that the website is actually optimized like accordingly. And it's one of those things where you have to see what really works for you, and you have to constantly tap the resources that WPX puts at your disposal to make sure that you are constantly making sense here in terms of optimization for your website. And most importantly, so optimization, security, and speed. So when we talk about uptime, when we talk about safety, when we talk about visitor authentication. You want to make sure, especially if you are in a field where you want to authenticate your visitors, for instance, to know what kind of geography they come from or what kind of users they are based on cookies. Then you want to have this capability on your WordPress website to enable you to have that kind of data. And WPS hosting actually allows you to have that in a very safe environment and scalable environment for that matter. By the way, boss, I want to quickly remind you of today's topic. We are having a conversation about WPS hosting. So this is a review of this service. I want to talk to you about the pros and cons of WPS hosting so we have a better idea what we're getting ourselves into. So I want to first talk to you about the pros. So you have a service that's great for beginners. So the dashboard is very easy to navigate. If you want to eliminate any technical hurdles, this actually makes the WPS hosting a solid option. You have great performance. So this is kind of cool. Now, WPS is it's not the fastest WordPress managed host out there, but they actually do offer excellent performance. You have near perfect uptime. So this is kind of cool. And you have a responsive customer support service. I mean, some hosts don't seem too fussed about fixing problems. WPS hosting is different. You can speak to someone on live chat within minutes usually. So it's live chat. You're not going to have somebody on the phone, okay? And in most cases, the person you speak to will be able to fix the issue that you have. And if they can, you'll get transferred to email support, which is slower but still, fast than other processes. You have free CDN. So WPS hosting has its own CDN called the WPX XDN and operates from over 30 locations over the globe. So you can activate it within a few clicks within your dashboard. You have automated backups and staging site creation. This is kind of cool. You have free malware recovery. You have email hosting included, and you have pricing is based on the bandwidth. So this is kind of cool in terms of scalability, okay? So that you don't have WordPress managed sites or WordPress managed services. They're trying to really play games when it comes to pricing. But so with WPS hosting, we love the transparency here. They're not trying to play games. They're really straightforward. So this is kind of cool. What about the cons here? Well, shared hosting has the shared hosting that WPS hosting actually provides has limited resources. So their page loads speeds are very good, but they're still part of a shared hosting platform. You do get dedicated resources, and this means servers are not oversold like with some shared web hosting providers. But it's one of those things where higher plans offer more resources, limited numbers of PHP workers, and you have a limited scalability also. What about the cost here? Let's talk about the cost. So we have, so I want you to look right now on the screen. When we talk about the cost with WPS, you have the business, the professional, the elite, or custom. Then you have to actually contact the customer service. So let's first talk about the business. So the business actually will cost you about $21 per month. So this is actually per month. And but this is when you are actually accepting to be billed on an annual basis. If you want to actually go, if you want to go with an annual basis, you get 2 months for free. This is kind of cool. But things are a lot more expensive if you were to accept a monthly billing process. So for the business, you have up to 5 websites, 15 gigabyte storage, and 200 gigabyte of bandwidth. That's for the business. And then you have the professional. Professional will actually cost you somewhere in 40 to $50 a month. And here you have up to 15 websites, 30 gigabyte storage, 400 gigabyte of bandwidth. And for the elite, you have this will cost you $99.99. That's like $100 and even more. You have up to 35 websites, 60 gigabyte storage, unlimited bandwidth. And this is kind of it's one of those things where when it comes to unlimited bandwidth, this is subject to a reasonable use policy at WPS hosting's discretion. So what we have seen here is that all plans include free malware removals, free speed optimization, free daily backups, staging sites, unlimited site migrations. This is kind of cool. You have unlimited SSL certificates, free via Let's Encrypt, and free site fixes if your site goes offline, and 99.95% uptime guarantee, and a 30-day money-back guarantee. And it's also worth noting that higher plans have increased server resources, but WPX hosting doesn't publicly advertise them on their pricing page. So it's one of those things where you have to contact customer service, so they give you a custom quote, a bespoke quote. And so the cool thing is that when we think about WPX, you want to think about going with an annual billing, so that way you are actually saving a lot faster. So there are some advantages of buying WPX hosting, right? Fast speeds, 5 to 35 websites, DDoS protection, free malware removal, you have free site fixes, and 24/7 customer support. Fantastic. Let's talk about the rivals here. So actually, as you can see, WPX is not the only player when it comes to WordPress hosting, right? They have cloud, for instance, you have Cloudways. So this is actually the web host that a lot of folks use for high traffic sites. So if you just choose which cloud service and how many resources, and you are good to go with Cloudways. This is kind of cool, and you can upgrade server resources easily. So due to the dashboard being more complicated, we actually recommend this for those who have experience with web hosting. And you also have Kinsta. So Kinsta is a popular managed WordPress host that powers like Flippa and Drifts. And this is kind of cool. And it's one of those things where, Kinsta is a little pricey though, because they charged based on visits, not usage. But this platform is extremely good. You have excellent performance and support. You also have Nexus. So Nexus offers tailored web hosting plans to suit general WordPress sites and WooCommerce sites. And what's particularly nice about Nexus is the high availability of PHP workers. In fact, you'll find it advertised on their WooCommerce plans. So this is kind of cool. So in closing here, it's important to really understand that when it comes to WPX hosting, you are talking about WordPress hosting, okay? So they offer affordable managed WordPress hosting, and their offering is ideal for beginners who want solid website performance without additional cost or complications really, or anyone who wants to upgrade from budget web hosting while keeping costs under control. The included CDN, malware recovery, and beginner-friendly dashboard are all great features in our view. And malware recovery is a feature lacking from budget hosting companies, so this is kind of cool. And so WPX definitely is not the fastest WordPress hosting company out there, but the company offers a very good site speed set of metrics and uptime for when you go through WPX hosting, the uptime is kind of decent. And we also love the fact that you are actually dealing with 24/7 customer service. But just go with WPX as long as you're comfortable doing live chat or email chat, because you're not going to get anybody on the phone. This is important. You're not going to have like a regular conversation with someone, but they'll get back to you via live chat or via other processes. Thank you so much for your attention. I really appreciate it. Let's do a quick recap here. So I'm talking to you about WPX hosting. And in today's conversation, I gave you the presentation, the features, the specs, the pros and cons, the cost, the rivals, and finally, in closing, I just recapped everything for you. Thank you so much. God bless you. I'll see you next time. Until then, remember, stay marvelous.